Hi dear Scorpios, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of September. September is not going to be as eventful as August, but still it's an interesting month. At the very beginning of September we have 6 planets in retrograde, which is a lot, half of the solar system going backwards. And But thankfully 2 personal planets are going to turn direct in September, Venus and Mercury. And they are personal planets, and the thing about the personal planets is that we feel when they're retrograde. It affects our daily life. Like imagine having a miscommunication, like misunderstanding, and then having an argument with your loved one. That really affects your daily life, right? So when they turn direct, it's a huge relief because our daily routine is gonna feel normal again. Yeah, and so I'm gonna do the overview as usual, and I'm gonna start with the planet Pluto because it's furthest from the sun. It kind of sets up the biggest background on the stage, if you think about life as stage. And so Pluto has been in Capricorn for the past 15 years, and it has been in your third house, and so it's a long time. And you probably got used to that energy. But the thing is, right now, Pluto is on the 28th degree of Capricorn. It's going to be on the 27th degree later. That means Scorpios who have their sun on the 27th and 28th degrees are going to feel a sextile aspect from Pluto, which is a favorable aspect. It's the aspect of like opportunity. Yeah, it's the aspect of empowerment. I mean, like the sextile from Pluto is about empowerment. So it can be a great time for Scorpios. And or those of you who have your rising sign on the 27th and 28th degrees of Scorpio, this is a great time. You guys are probably getting an opportunity, once in a lifetime kind of opportunity, because Pluto, as you know, it's a slow moving planet. Yeah, it's not going to be in this degree again, like in a couple of years. Yeah, and another thing is, since Pluto is your ruling planet, again, this is like extra important for you. And another thing is about Pluto aspects, because it's a slow-moving planet, its effect is felt the most when it's an inexact aspect. So right now it's on the 28th degree, and if your sun is on the 28th degree, you feel this like favorable aspect the most. And then when it moves to the 27th degree of Capricorn, the 28th degree Scorpios are gonna feel it less, a little, slightly less. Yeah, and then later, at the beginning of next year, I believe, Pluto is gonna go over those degrees again, and yeah, so you have one more chance of this sextile. And then we have Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces, I blame this Neptune in Pisces for all the fake news, for all the propaganda, lies in the media. Like, have you noticed that there is like no objectivity in the news? Like, they don't even pretend to be objective anymore. Like, even the most respectable newspapers, like the New York Times, you cannot trust them. Like, we are living in crazy times. So, because Neptune rules our collective subconscious. Yeah, so collective subconscious. And Pisces, even though I love Pisces dearly, but we must be honest, some of them can be delusional. Yeah, because Pisces is the very last sign in astrology, so that's where we kind of like dump all our psychological problems. Imagine all the problems starting from Aries, each sign passing on to the next sign. They're like the problems that they don't want to deal with. And by the time it reaches Pisces, Pisces gets all of that stuff, psychological mess, and it cannot pass it on to the next sign because there is no next sign after Pisces, right? It's the last sign. And so, yeah, Pisces has to deal with that. So it's kind of like hard to swim through all of that garbage, like psychological garbage. So yeah, Neptune has been in that sign. And the good thing about Neptune in Pisces is, I guess, strengthening our spirituality, even though if you look at the world, it's anything but spiritual, right? And but I guess it's asking us to keep in touch with like our inner voice of consciousness, our inner spirituality. Yeah, and so Scorpios, for you, this nebulous planet has been in your fifth house. Fifth house is the house of romance, love. Yeah, like a romance. And then what else? Children, creativity. So those Scorpios who are in the creative fields, I would say milk this transit to the most, because it is, and Neptune is very creative. It can give like divine inspiration, and if it when it comes to romance, yeah, it can give you like a very romantic kind of love, actually, like almost like fairy tale kind. But at the same time, you know, Neptune in Pisces, sometimes it can be like nebulous kind of guys. Yeah, those of you who know astrology know what kind of guys those are. But anyway, and next, Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, in your opposite sign. It has been in there since early 2019, so it has been probably making your partners kind of like eccentric, I would say like innovative, yeah, and rebellious. Yeah, you are probably attracting a lot of rebellious people these years, like from 2019 until like 2025, I believe. I need to double check that. Yeah, so and surprises, unexpected events in your partner's life. Yeah, but like the good thing about Uranus is that it can make you date the kind of people you never thought you would date. Yeah, or like you can do really exciting things with your partner, because your partner is probably going through like some exciting changes, exciting events in their lives. Um, yeah, so if you work with Uranus, it can be fun. But I know that like Taurus and Scorpio, you guys don't like changes. You don't like surprises. You prefer stability. You prefer predictability, and Uranus is anything but those. Okay, so hang in there, I guess. But you know, some say that Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, so you might be comfortable with Uranus's antics. And another interesting thing is Jupiter is currently transiting through your seventh house as well. So, um, Scorpios, you guys have had a lot going on in your relationships for the past couple of years. Uh, so, it's interesting. And Jupiter right now is giving that expansive energy in there. Probably giving a dose of luck to your partner. So your partner again is probably experiencing some awesome stuff in their life. Yeah, and so we have this transit until like next May. So enjoy it, okay, while it lasts. And then now I'm gonna do a mini ad about my astrology readings. Okay, I do birth chart analysis, astrocartography, progressions, synastry, compatibility stuff. What else? Solar return charts. So if you are interested, please email me. The way I charge is like pay whatever you want. I don't have a set price. Some customers are really generous. Some are going through like hardships, and so I understand. I've been broke myself, and I feel like that's when I needed astrology the most. Yeah, so don't hesitate. Like we can negotiate like a reasonable price. So thank you. And now I'm going to talk about the inner planets. On September 3rd in Americas, and September 4th for the rest of the world, that's when Venus stationed direct on the 12th degree of Leo. And so the planet of love, beauty, uh, finances is finally turning direct after 42 days of retrograde motion, and it's turning direct in your 10th house. So Scorpios, you guys have probably been reevaluating your social status. You have probably been reevaluating mm, yeah, your work, how much you get paid at work, how much your business makes, I guess. And then what else? Your love relationships, because Venus rules your relationship house. Yeah, and so if there have been any like misunderstandings, then when Venus turns direct, those things are slowly gonna fade away. The misunderstandings. You probably came to an understanding, made up with your partner, or if it didn't work out, maybe you guys split up, which is fine. Don't worry. Like it means God has someone better for you. And if you are still in a relationship, that means your relationship is stronger now. Yeah, and like the relationships that survive Venus retrograde become stronger. So that's good news, right? And so I hope that Venus retrograde helped you to mm, reevaluate a lot of stuff in your life, your values, and I hope you understand those things better now. Like next on September 4th, a day after Venus turns direct, Jupiter takes up the torch of retrograde from Venus and turns retrograde, like until December 3rd, 2023. So Jupiter is going to be retrograde for the rest of the year, and it's going to be retrograde in your 7th house. Yeah, so you will kind of like absorb all the lessons that Jupiter in Taurus has been trying to teach you. Like consciously, maybe you did understand, but like when it's retrograde, it kind of that's when it kind of like sinks in really. Or think of it like in this way: since May, Jupiter has been going through your 7th house at a normal pace and normal speed, so you might have missed some of the details because you only saw the big details. But when it's retrograde, it's going to go over those places slowly, so it's going to give you time to really look. Okay, so I hope you got what I'm trying to say. And so after this, on September 6th, we have the last quarter moon in Gemini. This marks the beginning of a week where, frankly, not much happens. I mean, like nothing like super new. Think of it like in this way. Again, as I said, if life is a stage, the period from September 6th until 11th is when you take down the Leo decorations, which were put up like on Leo new moon in August. Yeah, so now you are taking down those decorations and hanging Virgo themed decorations because we have a Virgo new moon coming up. So in your life, that means you are wrapping things up that began with the Leo new moon, and you are getting ready for the stuff that will come with the Virgo new moon. So make sure you get rest. Don't feel guilty if you are not doing anything, if you don't have energy for doing anything. And the thing is, if you are waiting for news, announcements, decisions, you can expect them to come like after September 11th. Yeah, because we can feel the effect of the new moon 4 days before or after. Yeah, that period. You can feel it. And so this Virgo new moon, it's going to happen in your 11th house. 11th house is the house of friendships, networks, okay, technology, the internet. What else? Hopes and wishes. So, something new in those matters. And the thing is, this new moon makes a kite aspect on the sky in that day, like on that day. So the kite aspect involves the luminaries in Virgo. They're going to be making a trine aspect to generational planets like Pluto in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus, all of them in Earth signs. So there's going to be this like easy flow of energy between them, like a very stable energy, very practical energy, like efficient energy, because all 3 Earth signs working together, yeah, they're putting out like their best qualities. The thing is, we have Neptune making an opposition to Sun and Moon in Virgo. So again, that nebulous energy distracting all this flow of energy. But the thing is, Neptune also makes a sextile aspect to Uranus and Pluto. So even though the luminaries and Neptune are going to be like requiring balance, those 2 generational planets are going to be working as mediators. We've already had this aspect, the kite aspect, in August during the Leo new moon. But back then it was Mercury and Mars in Virgo. But this time we have the luminaries in Virgo, so it's going to be more prominent. The luminaries, they are like the brightest objects in the sky, so we really feel them. And the thing about the kite aspect is that it doesn't happen often, especially involving the outer planets, the generational planets like the Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. So this is big. And the kite aspect is the aspect of like fate, destiny, opportunity for growth. So I feel like this Virgo new moon is gonna mark the beginning of an interesting month. And another interesting thing about this new moon is that it is the last new moon before the Libra solar eclipse in mid-October. So sometimes the events associated with that eclipse can play out a month before the solar eclipse or a month after. So I would say some Scorpios, you can expect something new, some changes around this new moon. Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna happen to all Scorpios, but it might happen to some, and so it should be interesting. So the third interesting thing about this new moon is that even if it doesn't bring any changes, eclipse size changes, it still marks the beginning of the eclipse season. We can really start feeling the eclipse energy a month before. Okay, so the months around the eclipses are like hectic, I guess. So the first half of September is going to be relatively peaceful, uneventful, but the second half of September we can really start feeling getting restless, because I guess our body can feel the energy shifting, we kind of start getting ready for the changes. Yeah. Because eclipses do bring huge changes, and that's exciting. Life is gonna put us where we're supposed to be. hmm And next, after this new moon, Mercury that ruled that new moon is gonna turn direct in Virgo, in your 11th house. Yeah, so all the misunderstandings, miscommunications are finally gonna fade away. I mean, Mercury is at its most confusing right when it turns retrograde and when it's about to turn direct. So I wouldn't get too excited when it turns direct. If you need to sign contracts, agreements, lease, I would say wait a couple days after the Mercury turns direct, or at least a week if you can. Yeah, but even if you have to sign around this date, around September 15th, don't worry, like it's not the end of the world. It just means that the terms of the agreement might change along the way. Okay? And so, next, on September 22nd, we have fall equinox in the northern hemisphere. Yay! The day and night are going to be equal. So the sun enters Libra on that day. This marks the beginning of fall. And what else? After this, on September 29th, we have Aries full moon on the 6th degree of Aries. And so the full moons are fruitions, completions, illumination. Okay? And this full moon is happening in your 6th house. So you might finish some project you've been working on. Or there might be some sort of like culmination at work. Okay? And so the luminaries are going to be illuminating your house of work and rest. The full moon is going to be in your house of work, and then the sun is going to be in your house of rest, the 12th house. So yeah, this is the time when you will be thinking about like work-life balance, rest and work. And also the 6th house is a house of health and pets, so there might be something about those. But I hope you don't get sick. Another thing about this full moon is the aspects. The aspects are going to be all over the place because the planets are not really together in some corner of the chart. They're going to be like evenly distributed. So that means there's going to be like aspects like this. And so I feel like our emotions are also going to be like all over the place. But don't worry, the full moon energy is at its peak around the full moon. So 4 days plus or minus. And after that, things should calm down a little bit. And the other interesting thing about this full moon is that it's the last full moon before the lunar eclipse in Scorpio on October 28th. Yeah, so this full moon, again, might bring some of the changes associated with that lunar eclipse. Not to all Scorpios, but to some, okay? And so Scorpios, this is it for September. As I said, it's not that eventful as August, but still, we have the first half of the month relatively peaceful. That's when the personal planets turn direct, and then we have that interesting new moon in Virgo with the kite aspect, and it can possibly bring some of the eclipse changes with that new moon. And even if it doesn't bring any changes, it marks the beginning of an eclipse month. So expect your routine to be a little bit weird, your energy sensing the restlessness of the eclipse, okay? And so enjoy the month before the lunar eclipse in your sign, Scorpios. Enjoy the rest, enjoy the peace before the storm. I mean, I'm not saying the lunar eclipse is going to be bad. It's just the changes that are brought to the eclipses, they usually require time for readjustment. Okay, And so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in my October video. Thank you.